Monster Prom is a game I've been putting off reviewing for quite some time because I'm kind of conflicted. I could tell by looking at this game and my Steam list of unplayed games that I wasn't going to enjoy it. I'm not really big on dating sims. I think they're kind of cringy, and maybe that's because I'm a functioning adult in a stable relationship with a partner that's, like, real, not code. So I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy this dating sim, which it kind of is. It's part dating sim, part actual game. There's this weird element to it where they do have multiplayer, but I didn't have any friends to play with, so I just played single player. But you apparently can play with your friends. The goal of Monster Prom is to try and get a date for prom, but you can also play with friends and compete and see who can get a date for prom first, or better yet, assert your dominance and cuck your friends by pursuing the same monster girl and or monster boy and taking their waifu or husbando to prom. There's not much of a tutorial to this game. You kind of just tell the game how you want to play, either half an hour or an hour at first, and it kind of just throws you in there. It tells you the 6 potential dates for prom from the very beginning: a drug addict ghost girl, a mentally handicapped werewolf, a dumbass mermaid princess, an obnoxious, intellectual, hipster vampire boy, an all-business girl boss, clearly adult gorgon, and a red-skinned demon bro boy. I saw the ghost girl and I thought, yeah, she's cute. I want her. And then she mentioned how she was into cocaine, and also how she, like, injected cocaine into her eyes. And, look, I personally don't mind if a partner of mine does drugs, theoretically, but I kind of draw the limit at, like, hard drugs. You know, that's a little too much for my comfort, so I made the immediate pivot to Mermaid Princess. Much to my surprise, the writing is actually funny, though all of the characters, I have to admit, are pretty one-dimensional and they're about as deep as a puddle. It seems also that 3 out of 6 of the characters can be written off as mental institution escapees, because at one point during my first playthrough, I bought a white sheet with eyes cut out of it, and I managed to convince them all that I was actually a ghost and I wasn't just grabbing my cell phone and waving it around. I was a ghost using ghost magic to levitate it. The vampire hipster nerd shows up, tells them all they have poo brain and that I'm obviously just a dude in the sheet, and they tell him to get lost because I'm obviously a real ghost. Now, this is concerning to me because we know a ghost. We have classes with a ghost. At one point, I used the ghost sheet as an impromptu rave behind the school to scare off this weird interdimensional space guy, asking my mermaid waifu to marry him. Hipster nerd vampire, again, shows up and tries to tell the group that, hey, you know this guy, he's not a ghost, he is a dude in a sheet. And as much of a buzzkill as he's starting to really be, I'm actually on his side at this point. I was very surprised when I had a moment where I got to share a scene with a ghost girl, and my character put the ghost costume on, and I thought, perhaps she'll berate me for cultural appropriation or something, or tell me I'm being offensive by wearing a bad costume about her culture. Actually, no, she goes all in on the obvious lie and is excited to find out there's another ghost at Monster High. She asks how I died, and thinking how cool it sounded, I told her I was a sacrifice to the god of partying. She told me in response that actually only virgins get sacrificed. Then she calls me a virgin, told me I was a loser, and the reason I'm a ghost wearing a sheet is actually probably because I'm butt ugly underneath this sheet. I now feel justified in picking the mermaid girl over the ghost girl. So prom night finally rolls around, and now I have the opportunity to ask mermaid girl to prom. She declines because apparently I'm wearing a ghost sheet when I ask her, and the last time that she was asked out by someone who was a ghost, turns out it was just a dude wearing a sheet, and I can't blame her. That sounds heartbreaking, being lied to like that, and I'm better off not breaking her heart. My reward for being rejected was a Steam achievement titled Epic Loser. As the credits rolled, I was caught off by some of the names here. I recognized a few of them, like Aaron Hansen, Jesse Cox, and ProZD, although ProZD was listed by his real name. I don't remember it off the top of my head, and I'm not going to look it up just for this review. They had producer roles and did voice work for some of the voice clips the characters had, and even though the voice acting was actually just largely like blurbs like, yeah, and woohoo, I feel the need to mention this because I'm irrationally afraid that some of these fans of these internet personalities will somehow find this video and give me shit and cancel me for not liking something their favorite actor worked on. So in reality, I actually didn't dislike it. It was a little funnier than I thought it was going to be, and I decided that in order to give this game a fair shake, I need to do at least more than one run. So I decided to do a second run. Now, at the beginning of the game, they give you a questionnaire to determine your starting statistics, and one of the questions they asked me on the second run is which animal I would rather have sex with and why. It took me a few minutes to convince myself to continue because none of the options available are I would not have sex with an animal. I decided to just pick one because if I'm going to review this game, I'll need more than one run to judge it on. So on my second run, I decided I want to see what happens when you actually do go to prom. So I go all in on Miranda, the mermaid princess. I turn into a bigger simp than iDubbbz, I spend every waking moment with her, and take her side in every conflict with our other friends, but the day before prom, I actually made a bad choice at one of these events, and I am rewarded on prom day when I get cucked by some random stranger when she tells me she can't go to prom with me because she's seeing someone right now. And then she just picks the dude off the street, runs away, asking for help. I started this run out as the simp and became the cuck. I decided I've had enough of this game for now and that maybe I'll play it again someday with friends, much like the $60 Call of Cthulhu board game I have sitting in the back of my closet.